My presentation is about the role of Aluka in internationalization of scholarship. As you already know, Aluka is an international collaborative initiative that is building a digital library of scholarly resources from and about Africa. What is internationalization of scholarship? Is it the same thing as globalization? Internationalization of scholarship is the reciprocal exchange of people, ideas, knowledge, goods, and services across two or more nations and different cultural identities. This is not quite the same as globalization. Globalization is a market-induced phenomenon, and it's also market-driven. It has positive and negative consequences. Internationalization involves various components, and one writer by the name Seleza has identified 6 components in internationalization of scholarship. These he calls the 6 C's. One is corporatization of management of higher education, and here it involves the adoption of business models in the management of higher education. The second is collectivization of access to education, and here it involves mass education or massification of education. Third is commercialization of learning, and here we find private institutions or private universities in providing higher education. Fourth is commodification of knowledge. Here we have commercial or profit-making organizations involved in knowledge generation, dissemination, and publication. Fifth, we have computerization, and this involves inclusion of information communication technology in teaching, research, and publication. And sixth is connectivity of institutions, which involves cooperation and better coordination across different institutions. Globalization has economic, technological, social, cultural, and political phenomena, and these are often frightening to people from the developing world. Some of the realities in globalization and internationalization of education involved the dominance of Anglo-American institutions across the globe. There is salient influence across the whole world. It also has to be realized that scholarship in the developing world is in crisis. Institutions have no money, they have no adequate finances to run their core missions of research, teaching, and public service. There is dismal knowledge production and access due to various reasons: inadequate resources, inadequate materials, poor bandwidth, poor connectivity, which make it very difficult to access electronic resources and incorporate ICT in university programs. There is generally a lot of imitation instead of innovation, because many institutions are trying to imitate the institutions that are excelling in the developed world. What is Aluka's role in all these scenarios? Can Aluka have a positive effect in internationalization of scholarship? The answer is truly yes. Firstly, Aluka has a role in presenting local content electronically, and Aluka operating from Africa is helping to build capacity in digitization by working with institutions and making their primary source materials available on the web. In a way, this provides alternative views to knowledge and interpretation of data, because the knowledge that would otherwise not be accessible is made accessible and visible on the web through Aluka. This visibility increases referencing of local content, and this facilitates exchange of ideas across nations and across peoples of different cultural identities. Aluka's role in aggregating and consolidating fragmented and disparate primary source materials is very important, as it plays an important role in unifying materials that are dispersed geographically, that are held by different peoples, that would otherwise remain unknown. In a way, there is also virtual repatriation of materials, in particular materials that were sitting in countries far away from their origin. This is particularly so in Africa, where there was colonialism, and a lot of materials are sitting in countries that were the colonial masters. Africa's traditional knowledge systems involved a lot of oral dissemination and preservation of knowledge, but this system is failing. It's failing because of the demographic changes, because of the urbanization phenomena, and today we have a generation of Africans, mostly the older people, who are like walking encyclopedias, but they cannot pass on this knowledge, and of course when they die, the knowledge disappears. Through Aluka's work in documenting interviews, documenting oral histories, a lot of this knowledge is being recorded to be used by scholars, to be shared by the rest of the world. Aluka also provides a platform for sharing and dissemination of high-quality multimedia content, and on this platform, it connects people and institutions with resources. The platform also facilitates access to data and knowledge. It would also be interesting to know that today we have over 100 institutions and 30 individual contributors who are engaged with Aluka, and this community of people working together with Aluka is growing. In Aluka's work, we are also very much engaged with outreach. In our outreach activities, we visit institutions, we assess their connectivity, their capacity to be engaged with the rest of other institutions. We also develop training materials and carry out training on the use of digital resources, in particular Aluka. And during these visits, it's a time to get feedback and also clarify our policy on intellectual property rights. We are very excited at Aluka to work with many people in different countries, in different nations, people of different cultural identities, and in working together, each institution or individual contributes a little, which is put together for the benefit of all of us. I hope that this summary gives you some starts to think about Aluka and its role in internationalization of scholarship, and I hope that you can all support Aluka so that we can be successful and promote the positive exchange of ideas, knowledge, interaction of people across different nations and of different cultural identities. Thank you very much.